Had to eat it. Okay. 1-2. Popped up. Let's see. Lee can't get it. The runner's in his way. And the out. Hold everything. Forget the play. Forget the play. Carlos Lee was blocked by Andre Ethier, and the out immediately called by Todd Tichenor. I would assume that play is dead because of the play at first base. But it was pretty obvious that Ethier stood in front of Carlos Lee, and Lee had no way to get around him, pushed him to get out of the way, and then the ball was dropped. So immediately Ethier's called out. See the push? Meanwhile, the catcher drops the ball, and it winds up interference at first. Dodgers are not convinced yet. They're going to try to argue, but the Marlins are in the dugout. I would think, and I'm not sure, I would think once interference was called at first, Carlos Lee trying to push Andre Ethier out of the way, that the ball and the play was dead. So Mattingly is talking to Tony Randazzo. They will have a huddle. Brian Gorman is the crew chief. So whenever you get into a bowl of spaghetti like this, it's best to back off and wait until the four umpires put their heads together. One thing was very obvious, that Andre Ethier stood his ground. Carlos Lee had to push him out of the way, but it took Lee out of the play. And remember, if you're thinking about the infield fly rule, there's a reasonable expectancy to make the catch. And there wasn't a reasonable expectancy when the catcher had to run 45 feet up along the first baseline to make a lunging try and couldn't make the play. So we shall wait with any more guesswork. Mattingly's going to have to wait. The umpires are not finished yet. Big game, of course. It may be just a workout for the Marlins, but not for the Dodgers. Two back of the Giants, who play in about an hour and 15 minutes. So we shall wait. Tom Gorman, whose father, Tom Gorman, umpired so many years in the big leagues, is now breaking the news to Mattingly. Marlins are in the dugout. Most of the Dodgers are in the dugout. The meeting continues. Andre Ethier is going back to first base. Now they're going to call Ozzie Guillen out. Ethier apparently is entitled to be where he was, and it was up to Carlos Lee to get around him. So Lee pushed him out of the way, and immediately the first base umpire Tichenor called out. Then after that, we assumed the ball was dead, and all the rest of it was pure acrobatics. And Mattingly is applauding as he goes back. Guillen now is asking Brian Gorman to go back over the play again. Cruz is going to come back up and hit. So here's the interference. We saw Tichenor do it right away, and that's when I thought the ball was automatically dead. All the rest of it, we thought they were just running around. Well, they're not finished yet. Davey Lopes is now getting into the discussion. The Cruz came up with runners at first and second, and the first thing to call is the infield fly rule. However, remember, Lee couldn't make the play, and the rule said reasonable expectancy to catch the ball. So now, by rights, I think, they're going to go back and call obstruction on the part of Ethier. I think that's going to be the settlement. Lee did not have that reasonable chance to handle it. So when Tichenor raised his hand, he was calling obstruction. pretty hard to obstruct that big bull over there at first base. The guy who produces Brahma bulls in the offseason. So what they're going to do, Ethier will be out. Gonzalez has to stay at second. Since Cruz is going to be allowed to hit again, we assume we'll wipe away the pop fly and the infield fly rule and just settle on obstruction. We'll watch the catcher, see if he touches the ball or not. The ball landed fair and then kicked foul, but Ethier's out of there. One way or another, Ethier had to be out, and he is. So 2 out.